Welcome back to the Tropius Forest channel. I am your host, Kyle Aubin. We are now at week 4 of the Region Rumble recap. Our players have shown us just how volatile the metagame of VGC Regulation G can be. So let's see what they have in store for us today. The team matchups for week 4 will be North America versus Team Global, Oceania versus Asia Pacific, and Europe versus Latin America. In today's video, we will showcase a match between Seawolf Mikes of North America versus Matt3 from Team Global. Now, North America and Team Global are neck and neck for first place, so let's see who comes out on top. Seawolf Mikes from North America brought Rillaboom, Urshifu Rapid Strike, Pelipper, Incineroar, Zamazenta, and Frostmoth, as Matt3 from Team Global brought Miraidon, Barigarath, Heartflame Ogerpon, Iron Hands, Urshifu Rapid Strike, and Grimmsnarl. North America leads Rillaboom and Urshifu Rapid Strike, as Team Global leads Miraidon and Grimmsnarl. Turn 1. Team Global pivots Grimmsnarl out for Farigarath. Rillaboom goes for Fake Out, but fails due to Armor Tail now in play. Urshifu goes for Close Combat into Miraidon, dealing 73% damage. Miraidon counters back with a Volt Switch, getting the turn 1 knockout onto Urshifu and pivots to Grimmsnarl. North America brings Frostmoth to the field, which activates its Grassy Seed to get a +1 defense at the end of this turn. Turn 2. Team Global once again pivots out Grimmsnarl and brings in Miraidon. The field is now covered by electric terrain. Rillaboom pivots with a U-turn into Farigarath and brings in Zamazenta. Frostmoth goes for a Quiver Dance. Farigarath uses Foul Play on Zamazenta, which is resisted for 5% damage. Turn 3. North America switches Zamazenta out for Rillaboom and changes the terrain back to grassy terrain. Team Global uses Terra Fairy on Miraidon, and North America uses Terra Grass on Frostmoth. Farigarath goes for a Helping Hand, raising the damage output done by Miraidon, which goes for an Electric Drift, only hitting Frostmoth without the electric terrain, doing 26% damage. Frostmoth counters back with a Giga Drain, which is boosted by the grassy terrain, and finishes off Miraidon. Team Global has Grimmsnarl return to the field. Turn 4, Team Global sets up with a Light Screen, as Frostmoth does 46% damage to Grimmsnarl with terrain boosted Giga Drain, and Rillaboom gets the KO on Grimmsnarl with its Wood Hammer. Farigarath twists the dimensions with a Trick Room. Team Global now brings in their last Pokemon to the field, which is Iron Hands. Team Global uses Drain Punch and Psychic Noise onto Rillaboom, doing 63% damage. Rillaboom follows the hit with a Wood Hammer, doing 48% damage back to Iron Hands, and survives the recoil with 7% of its HP left. Frostmoth goes for a Giga Drain onto Iron Hands as well, dealing 24% damage. Turn 6. Iron Hands KOs Rillaboom with a Drain Punch. Farigarath goes for a Psychic Noise onto Frostmoth, doing 12% damage and heal blocking for 2 turns. This now hinders Frostmoth from using its Giga Drain for 2 turns, forcing Frostmoth to do nothing here on turn 6. Farigarath and Iron Hands receives another 6% recovery from the terrain. Zamazenta returns to the field without a defense boost, as it did exhaust its ability earlier on turn 2. Turn 7, Team Global uses Helping Hands to boost the Drain Punch, which lands a critical hit onto Zamazenta to knock it out. North America goes for an Ice Beam into Iron Hands, dealing 21% damage. Grassy terrain disappears at the end of this turn. Turn 8, Frostmoth uses Protect to stall out the final turn of Trick Room. Team Global uses Drain Punch and Psychic Noise into the Protect. The dimensions return to normal at the end of this turn. Turn 9, Frostmoth uses Ice Beam on Iron Hands, dealing 22% damage, which counters with a Drain Punch. Farigarath sets up the Trick Room once again. Turn 10, North America stalls a turn with Protect. Team Global pressures with Drain Punch and Psychic Noise. Turn 11, Team Global moves first in Trick Room, landing a Drain Punch and Psychic Noise to knock out Frostmoth. Team Global takes Game 1. Both players make adjustments to their lead here on Game 2. North America starts with Rillaboom and Zamazenta, as Team Global leads Grimmsnarl and Heartflame Ogerpon. Turn 1, North America takes Rillaboom off the field and puts in Pelipper, activating Drizzle. Team Global uses a Terra on Ogerpon to get the attack boost and sets up Reflect. North America sets up an Iron Defense, as Ogerpon uses Ivy Cudgel into Pelipper, dealing 38% damage. Turn 2, Grimmsnarl lands a Thunder Wave onto Zamazenta, allowing Ogerpon to go first, using Hornleech onto Pelipper to get the knockout. Zamazenta counters to Ogerpon, dealing 86% damage. Rillaboom returns to the field. Turn 3, Team Global uses Spiky Shield on Ogerpon, as Rillaboom uses U-turn on Grimmsnarl, dealing 14% damage, and pivots to Frostmoth, activating the Grassy Seed. Zamazenta is still faster than Grimmsnarl and deals 65% damage with a body press. Grimmsnarl counters with Spear Break on Frostmoth and lowering its special attack by 1 stage. All injured Pokemon gain 6% health at the end of this turn. Team Global withdraws Ogerpon for Farigiraf, as North America uses Protect on Frostmoth. Grimmsnarl now sets up a light screen, and Zamazenta breaks through the Paralyze to land a body press into Farigiraf, dealing 61% damage. Turn 5, Grimmsnarl lands a Thunder Wave onto Frostmoth, as Zamazenta lands a body press on Farigiraf and gets the KO. Frostmoth also breaks through to land an Ice Beam onto Grimmsnarl. The active Pokemon receive another 6% health from the train, as Rain and Grassy Terrain end here on turn 5. Hearthflame Ogerpon returns to the field. Turn 6, North America uses their Terra Dragon on Zamazenta and Protect on Frostmoth. Ogerpon targets the Frostmoth with an Ivy Cudgel and is knocked out by Body Press. Spirit Break is still super effective into Terra Zamazenta and deals 15% damage. Team Global forfeits at the end of this turn. Game 2 goes to Team North America. Team North America makes another adjustment, leading this game with Urshifu Rapid Strike and Pelipper. Team Global continues with Heartflame Ogerpon and Grimmsnarl as their lead. Turn 1, North America withdraws Urshifu out to position Rillaboom with Grassy Terrain. Team Global does the same with Ogerpon, bringing in Miraidon. Grimmsnarl lands a Thunder Wave onto Rillaboom as Pelipper uses Weather Ball, dealing 30% damage to Miraidon. Turn 2, Rillaboom is hindered by Paralysis and cannot go for a Fake Out. Grimmsnarl sets up a Reflect as Miraidon uses Volt Switch on Pelipper, bringing it down to Focus Sash. Farigiraf hits the field and takes 52% damage from Weather Ball. Turn 3, Grimmsnarl sets up a Light Screen as Pelipper uses Weather Ball on Grimmsnarl, dealing 48% damage. Farigiraf knocks out Pelipper with a Psychic Noise. Rillaboom gets to break through on this turn to land a Wood Hammer into Grimmsnarl, which survives at 18% health. North America brings Zamazenta out to the field. Turn 4, Team Global uses Prankster Thunder Wave on Zamazenta, which is hindered by the Paralysis and cannot attack. Farigiraf also targets Zamazenta with Psychic Noise, dealing 18% damage and blocking it from healing for 2 turns. Rillaboom is able to land a U-turn, doing 19% to Farigiraf, and pivots Urshifu onto the field. Turn 5, North America doubles back Urshifu to bring in Rillaboom to avoid the Thunder Wave from Grimmsnarl. Zamazenta gets to attack on this turn, landing a Heavy Slam to knock out Grimmsnarl. Farigiraf now uses Follow Play into Rillaboom, dealing 30% damage. Only Rillaboom and Farigiraf receive 6% recovery from the train. Miraidon returns to the field. Turn 6, Team Global uses Terra Fairy on Miraidon and attacks with a Stab boosted Dazzling Gleam, dealing 45% damage to Rillaboom and 42% damage to Zamazenta. Zamazenta counters with a Body Press into Miraidon and only deals 19% damage. Rillaboom also gets to break through the Paralysis and goes for U-turn into Farigiraf, dealing 19% damage and pivots to Urshifu. Farigiraf sets up a Trick Room. Turn 7, North America once again removes Urshifu from the field to bring in Rillaboom and sets up the Grassy Terrain. Farigiraf now moves first, using Psychic Noise on Zamazenta, dealing 20% damage. Zamazenta lands a Heavy Slam into the Terra Fairy Miraidon, but it survives at 3% health, allowing it to use Dazzling Gleam once again to get a double knockout onto Rillaboom and Zamazenta. Both Pokemon for Team Global receive 6% recovery from terrain. Turn 8, North America now uses Terra Ghost on Urshifu. Farigiraf uses Psychic Noise, and Miraidon knocks out Urshifu with a Terra Dazzling Gleam to complete Game 3. Team Global takes the match point. It's amazing to see how players operate their team while versing an opponent who's using a different terrain than they are. Both players did very well today. Congratulations to Matt 3 on your win. Here are the current standings for the end of Week 4. Team Global pushes ahead to be in first place, as North America is now in second place no longer on the throne. They had been in first place since week 1. Oceania and Asia Pacific follow up, tied in 3rd place. Europe moves up to 5th place, and Latin America is in 6th place, but only by 1 game win, game loss ratio. There are 6 weeks still ahead of us for this event, and each team still has a chance to win the Region Rumble. Please leave a like and a comment on the video, and it will certainly help our channel grow. Come back next week for week 5, and until then, take care.